stage because everyone's just had a really big fat free lunch and all you want to do is sleep. So, jaagte raho during our hello, jaagte raho during our session. All right. So this session is going to focus on the juice of the IP business: funding, sponsorship, and curation. Now, for those of you who are non-event walas in this room, and most of you are, events are classified into intellectual property events, digital events, activation events, and managed events. Now, IP events, although they're only 2% of the entire, bucket of events that are concluded in the country through the year, they come forward and provide 21% of total revenues generated across all event genres. And that is why more and more event organizations across the country are looking very seriously at building successful IPs. Because IPs offer more premium than other services. Because IPs add more quality revenue to the organization's kitty. Because IPs help in signing on long-term deals. Because IPs demonstrate measurable results. And also because IPs help in resilience when an organization is facing economic slowdown, or even the economy of the country in general is facing an economic slowdown. Now, in our industry, event organizations are looking at building IPs to establish a position of supremacy and change their perception in the market and also in the eyes of the customer and the investor. When we zeroed in on this topic for this session, we thought, and then we said, who better than this man? Okay, now what is common between all these names? Bollywood Music Project, the Bike Festival of India, Big Boys Toys, the Edutainment Show, WOW Awards Asia, India Kids Fashion Week, EMDI, IISF, Event FAQS. What's common? Yeah, this man's name. He is a serial entrepreneur who's very successfully managed to convert business opportunities into flourishing startups and has managed to create successful live event IPs that are bankable once again across multiple genres. Now when you meet him, he's this really unassuming guy. He's popular, he's affable, and you think, oh, how sweet. But he really is someone who's determined, he's dauntless, he's driven, and he's democratic when it comes to business, growth, and innovation. He's a dear friend. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to invite on stage the founder of Event Capital and a man who, amongst others, has actually built the Marcus Aurelius column of the IP business in India. Deepak, come on up! Come on, put your hands together for him. Deepak Choudhry, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. How are you? You met him. Deepak, आपका और मेरा ना competition है. Can we have his mic on? Thank you. आपका और मेरा ना competition है दीपक. लोग कहते हैं कि event industry में मेरे सबसे ज़्यादा दोस्त हैं. ये सच नहीं है guys. Deepak has the most number of friends in the Indian event industry, so we're competing on that level, yeah?
No, I don't agree. Deepak will say, who has more friends? Deepak.
Yeah,
Deepak has more friends.
There's one more friend, but okay. So Deepak, you have this constant need to curate and create ideas. I've seen that, I've observed that. Does that intrinsically really help you in putting out one new IP idea after the other? It's a part of your personality, it's in your blood. I've seen that for many years. You love to create and curate new ideas.
I think it started with starting an event school. India didn't have an event school, and I got a chance to start one called EMDI. While I was not a teacher to them, but seeing the event guys, the training the event guys, and seeing newer things, doing newer things, I got an inspiration from there actually. And that I started supporting their ideas. There was a small idea called Students Working Against Tobacco. Now, a small idea which is now shaped up to a largest NGO in the no smoking space. Yeah, so started with that and helped me to curate more and more. Allowed depending on a space. Now there is a let's say for example there is a space. I always started seeing how you can connect this to events and started connecting that to events, and it happened to become sizable, scalable with the time.
Deepak, we were talking the other day when we, discussed how we go about this session. And I remember you mentioning to me that we actually live in the experience age. It's the experience economy, the industry that we're really in. This is just the perfect age for an IP owner or curator to be in, isn't it? Because for the audience out there, for your end customer, experience is the new luxury. Experience is the new thing to do before you die. You know?
No, I agree. I think I've been lucky to be a part of that. I think it gives it looks good from one side. You want to create those experiences, but simple suggestion: if you've been on that particular space for very long time, then only get into that. Yeah. So, but yes, it gives me a passion to do that.
You just gave them a warning there that it looks very nice when you see it, but think about it before you get into it. That line there kind of meant that. I'd like to add to that by saying that you see the sun, but you don't see the burn behind the sunburn. Sunburn is a very, very famous IP event in the country.
I think one of the finest.
Then there's the Bollywood music project. So you see the Bollywood, but you don't see the project behind the Bollywood music project. Let's get down to basics here, Deepak. How does this start? How do you curate an idea? What is the fabric of the process? And what are the challenges that you face along the way before you really deliver the baby?
So let's take one by one all of these examples you mentioned. Some of them not owned by us. Large ideas like Sunburn or IFA. We've heard them in the morning. IFA was a passion of these three promoters, and one of the promoters continuously taking an effort to get close to the Bollywood industry and curating and being with their families and spending most of the time in that particular category.
Yes.
Now that is the basic need of a IP. Let's say for example, a lot of people come to me and say, I have a great idea. It is about an idea, but if you not spend enough time of your life in that particular category, it doesn't make sense. What we do at Event Capital, a lot of time, we don't invest in ideas, we invest in people. Let's say, we've done this at various levels. I'll give you an example of Event FAQs. If was not for me focusing and knowing, and as family and friends, the event companies, it would have not come into form, or a Wow Asia would not come to inform because of focusing that category. Giving an example of, you also said Sunburn. Harinder or Shailinder at that time, going and sitting abroad for years to make sure they know that category well, making friends out of those artists, I think that helped them a lot. Yeah, so
the same goes for the Jaipur Literature Festival.
Same goes to Jaipur Lit Fest. How Mr. Roy travels around the world.
Yes.
Much before starting the Lit Fest, he knew the economies around the world. He knew the culture around the world. He travelled for many years to make sure that Jaipur Lit Fest comes in fame, and automatically you start getting that value. I just met. Actually, I was here and met. Comic-Con, everybody's heard. Comic-Con is a great IP nowadays where I met the owners of Comic-Con, and seeing them, one of those guys was spending a lot of time in working with Comic-Con around the world, visiting Comic-Con around the world, started working with those merchandising companies, and finally came with that idea within India. I think that's what it needs, a fabric to start our IP.
Okay.
If you don't have that fabric, avoid.
It's going to be challenging.
It is challenging.
It's going to be long-driven.
But it is about an idea. Let's not, I'm saying front is idea. If idea is back, then no sense of that.
So you first need to have a path-breaking idea, or an idea whose time has come, or an idea that fills a niche. And then you have to have the know-how in terms of people that surround that idea, the space that idea lives and breathes in. Beyond that, what is the process? And what are the challenges? I want you to go into the nitty-gritty and speak to me like I'm a baby who's learning A, B, C, D of IPs.
Okay, so there are 4 to 5 things. One is yes, the curation, which is the most key of everything, the curation and content. Second is, I'm going to get into detail of this, but second is sales and revenue and business development. You largely create revenue opportunities for that particular category.
Okay.
Third is the marketing of that, and fourth is the operational logistics. Now these are the largely an IP, what an IP needs to grow or sustain or start or the whole process. I'll give you an example of what we did at Bollywood Music Project. Now, it started with an idea, a Bollywood music project. There is Sunburn, there is EVC, or there was Supersonic. All of these IPs, we realized there are DJs who are performing and there was no festival in the Bollywood space. Now, idea was very simple, that the space in the Bollywood music, in the festival format was missing.
Okay.
Now, first was an idea. Second, who to curate this? I would have gone in, I didn't know anything about music. Get a right person. Went on to get Tarsim Mittal. Tarsim manages Arijit, Rekha Ji, Sunidhi, Amit. It was easy for me to get him to curate it, and it became a story then. Yeah, so it is that process which led to then organizing that better. Hygiene has to be kept in mind. Stay on for long. If you are in a hurry, don't start an IP. Stay on for, have a 3 to 5 years vision, have a good funding backing. A lot of people want to burn their monies, don't burn, give me the money, don't burn that money. I'm saying I'll invest in IPs. Yeah, so these are some
So let's go step by step here. I've often heard you say that marketing an IP is very challenging. But I'm curious to know, is it still as challenging as it was before? Because now you have the digital stream of marketing that which really brings down the costs. So is it as challenging as before?
It is. No, so it's not challenging, it's become costly. Okay, so,
really?
Yeah,
despite the digital age?
Still, like a sponsor still doesn't understand the value digital brings in on table. Still,
Okay.
If your marketing plan in an IP is only digital, a sponsor takes that as a hygiene factor and doesn't take that as your investment. So the sponsor says that you have to do either ways to sell your tickets or to create a curation. But what happens if you are still without an ATL, which is not required to be true, you don't get a sponsor. So sponsor values your outdoor, sponsor values your newspaper, radio, and so on and so forth. So ATL is equally important when it comes to IPs. Yeah, and you may end up spending still 50% of your money is on digital and activation and 50% money on ATL.
Okay.
While an IP is going on in house.
Okay. And is funding a major challenge? I'd like to know what is the process, how do you go about funding, and what is the process of stabilization before the IP actually turns around and starts to reap you benefits?
So, there's no history of, or there are no case studies of funding in our country. Only India Art Fair got sold as one of the IPs.
Yes.
Yeah. Like a fountainhead got sold to Dentsu, there was the IPs were not evaluated. So again, there's no case study to it. India Art Fair is a case study. I think we all should see what is the value they've got and so on and so forth. Challenging too, because finally the funding formula comes from the multiple of a profit. Okay, and a multiple of profit in a IP space is challenging. So what you do, you create a brand valuation, okay, and through understanding of a reach, understanding of the database, how much you have, okay, and finally how many people, how many things you reach to, what value you created. So largely IPs can be structured on the brand valuation perspective and not on a financial value perspective. And if there is a strategic investor, that only will make sense. A financial investor won't make sense.
Yes, yeah. I think what you're saying is right. A strategic investor makes sense for the long haul. A financial investor can develop cold feet along the way, and it takes time for an IP to stabilize, right?
So that's what financial investor. It's not sensible for them. They will look for X number of multiple. You won't be able to give that multiple. You will promise them, but won't be able to do it. I think so. It's better to stay on with a financial investor or a media investor. Go to media houses. If you have an idea, it's easier for them because a lot of costs get minimized.
Okay, Deepak. Now, I think all of us have noticed that IPs are gaining a foothold in the X category cities in the country. Now, this is the new HRA classification X, Y, Z. What about the Y category cities in the country? What is the future of IPs in the Y category cities?
So there is, let's say for example, someone tries to get into smaller cities, or let's say exhibitions as a space is a large space. Again, we try to keep these spaces at two different spaces, but sometimes we do like curated exhibitions. A lot of exhibitions we consider them as IPs. It's a great space to take exhibitions to Y and Z cities. Okay. Now, point two. Sponsors' interest at a larger value point of it, you won't get at Y or Z, you will only get in the X city. This is the challenge one. Okay. Sponsor interest, not in volume by a per city, but if you're doing a multi-city IP, which will sponsor into rural IPs and so on, smaller money, but multi-city can, Y and Z cities can help them.
Okay. I personally think that the kids' entertainment and experience space in the country has huge potential. And I see you focusing very hard on that space, right?
So, I think we're trying to work in every space which is large. Music was done, family space was a space for IP, youth was a space where the clients are trying to get in. Kids is a difficult space, but finally that was left in a category. But realize it is much easier than any other category. We sell, there's an IP called Windmill Festival, it's an international kids festival we do. We sell more tickets of a windmill festival than a Bollywood music project.
Yeah, see, that's
so that is the difference of when it comes to kids IPs. We also have a kids IP called India Kids Fashion Week. Now this IP, we register, we do a 10-city show and a fashion show in all 10, 20 fashion shows in these cities and register 10,000 kids. Just to walk, a parent pays us a lot of money. Now, so is a kids space a good space? Yes, kids space is a fantastic space. Brands are trying to connect. Consumer money is available in the kids space because parents are ready to give anything for the kids. And not for themselves. They don't want to attend the festival, but it is important they take their kids out on Saturday, Sunday. So start focusing that. I think we realize it's profitable.
You have a permanent customer in me for kids festivals. Yeah. Okay, so the social space in India is mammoth, whether the disorganized sector or the organized sector. Now, personal celebrations and IPs, why is it not happening, or do you already have something up your sleeve?
So, over there, we've not announced, we're getting into a space there. We've recently acquired a large IP. We were trying to get in this space. It is called India Bridal Fashion Week. It is a 8 years old IP in the bridal space. We recently invested in that, and it's a large fashion week around the country. So Lakme Fashion Week and Amazon Fashion Week were the two larger ones, and this is the other one. So it's a good space. Bridal is a growing category. 70% of business, what is happening in fashion is bridal. So it makes a lot of sense to get into bridal there when it comes to fashion.
Okay, we've been given a certain amount of time, so I'm going to head into my last two questions. I want you to share with them all the taxation relief that ticketing has finally been bestowed with.
See, there was a time when a GST came in formation, entertainment tax got removed, which was a treat for all the festival owners.
Yeah.
One. Second, the GST was a great mammoth number on 28% on ticketing, which was extremely difficult number, which was going from the consumer pocket, and the ticket prices. So if you're selling 1,000 rupees ticket, 280 rupees is going to the government. Now, which is becoming an unviable thing, where the efforts of our association, the event association, the event EEMA, has got that while speaking it to 18% on ticketing. I think that will be a good effort, and I think it's changing in some time, or it will change. I don't know if is it 18% is done, or
is it already enforced?
But I think let's put enough pressure that we will have that to 18%, whatever it takes to. As film industry is getting there, we should be for sure getting there at 18% of the GST on the ticketing. That's it. Is the structural change. But yes, still in the festival format, if you say, 28% is very high.
Okay. Thanks to their efforts, I think we'll see that new dawn. The efforts of EEMA, thank you. Infrastructure, I read all the time, wherever I read about IPs, infrastructure is lacking in our country. especially infrastructure with quick turnaround time. This is a huge challenge, don't you think?
So it is a challenge. I think from Modi government has tried that in few places to become better. Pragati Maidan is coming, ITPO is coming with by 2020 it will be a larger Pragati Maidan infrastructure.
Okay.
Book My Show is taking a large effort. I don't know, I would like to share, it's little, maybe Ashish Ebrajani is there today. I think we should ask questions. They're doing, one is, Book My Show is building up a large venue in MMRDA grounds. They've just got a tender of that. So I think that will change the face of Bombay as an infrastructure. Second, Geo, what I hear, Geo is investing in 20 Geo gardens around the country. Now automatically that will add up to a lot of infrastructure solutions to our country. Large convention, again coming by Reliance in MMRD grounds. I'm speaking more for Bombay side because, Delhi side, Pragati Maidan is what I know. But it is a big challenge. IP owners really want more and more infrastructure, more and more convention halls. If there is, we'll be having more shows.
I think apart from all the other challenges that we spoke of, this really is your main challenge, infrastructure.
It is.
And it's not something that's going to have a very fast turnaround time. It's going to take time, a lot of government intervention.
I agree completely, and hotels should support that. Hotels have not been able to be such large ones, and all they are booked by weddings, and the price points are not matched. But yes, this is a challenge, but there are solutions seen there now.
Fantastic. Deepak, in a few lines, the future of the IP business in India.
So, it'll take time. It's if you are in it for, like how we say, stock, invest in for long. Okay, so it is the same future of IPs. Of a great idea, support that, continuously keep working on that, and it will see its life. In 3 to 5 years, this 2% business, what you're saying of event agency, will go to 20% of IP business. Yeah, so I'm so bullish on it in next 3 to 5 years. Whoever invests in, stay on it, and will be profitable in the years to come.
Thank you so much for your talk.
Thank you so much.
We have
Thank
time for 2 questions, Ruhail. Can we take 2 questions? Thank you, with your permission. We'll just take 2 quick questions.
I was missing him, sir.
Good evening, how are you? Anurag.
Anurag sir ka question.
Yes.
So why don't you spend money on media to amplify the idea? No, I'm serious.
Yeah,
People come to us,
serious,
you spend money on hotels, you spend money on content, blind people. You know, too many events are happening. If you don't spend money to amplify pre-event, post-event, sell tickets. I mean, honestly, that's a question more for the hall. And, you know, on a daily basis, I get 2-3 calls, you know, for partnership. So I really want to, I ask people, are you spending on the hotel? Yes. Are you spending on this? Yes. So media really.
No, but so just a straight answer is still we are not in the profitability format in IPs. Okay, for a B2C, so challenging to put a cost. Come as partners. Don't make us spend money on fixed cost. I'm saying come as partners where take a revenue from ticketing, find some formulas for us which allows us to sell more. Challenges are, yes, we don't want to increase the cost of an IP. That becomes challenging. So we try to find partners and so on. Yeah, but I think essentials is what we do. Rest challenging for this business too. Still to see.
I want to change the mindset that media is not essential.
Can we hand him a mic, please?
Really, media can create an extra aura, which in the second, third year can help the event. It may not even help the event in that year. It may only.
I agree.
Yeah. So I think I just want to sweep this here, and I possibly haven't written for BW Applause, and I'll write a column on this because I really feel strongly that it adds value. And we spend on paint, we spend on retail, we're business world, but they're daily products. We have a digital daily, but it's still growing. So we amplify events on Republic, on ET now. So anything that I'm telling you, and these are paid partnerships, right?
No, I agree. We do that. Just, Mr. Batra, all our IPs have a budget with Exchange for Media. We make sure each of our IPs has a mailer going on Exchange for Media. We make sure that because we want to reach to the marketers, and we make sure that. I think that happens from perspective.
I know that.
One more question and then we're wrapping up. One quick question, please.
I think there, at the back there. Can you pass the mic? Can you pass the mic there?
Can you raise your hand?
Do we have questions now? I saw some hands.
No. It was Mr. Brian Tellis saying hi.
Say hello.
Yeah, he was just saying hello.
That's okay. is allowed to say hello.
Anybody?
I didn't see such big promoters of
All
IPs as
good looking men are allowed to say hello.
Anybody? One last question.
Yes, sir.
All right,
please.
Mr. Gurna.
This side. Get
One
behind it.
question. What do you
Yes,
see?
Chambers.
Mr. KJS Gurna.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, Mr. Gurna.
Okay, what do you see? Which is going to be a better space to come into IPs? Is it going to be more of B2B or is it going to be more of B2C?
So real IPs are B2C. Okay, B2Bs I won't say they're IPs. They are events which are led by because they can't say in large scale it can't get. Okay, I won't say B2B are IPs. B2B are events still. Yeah, B2C are real IPs when 10 people sitting in a group, everybody knows about that is called IP. Yeah, so that's where my IP definition will be.
Okay. Thank you very much, Deepak.
Thank you so
talking
much.
to us, and thank you for your questions. And thank you for having us here.
Thank you so much. Now that fireside session was exactly what it had to be. Fiery,